Hello, everyone. It's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my video this evening. I am live here on Wednesday night, and that's because last night I went to my book club gathering, and we actually got together in person last night, and it was so nice to visit in real life. We were outside in one of my book club friends' backyards, and the weather was just spectacular. It was such a lovely evening. We spent the whole evening, like from 6 o'clock in the evening, because we also had ordered in pizza and had supper as well there. From 6 o'clock in the evening till I think 9:30, we were outside the whole time, and it was just such a treat. So so I'm live tonight, which is Wednesday instead of the usual Tuesday. And hi gals who are hopping on. I think I see Darlene and Sue and Lori too. Great to see you all there. I'm going to be sharing a fun fold card with you today. Some people call it a diagonal fold card. Some demonstrators call it a triangle fold card. Whatever you call it, it's kind of a fun, a little bit different take on our regular folds. And so I'll be demonstrating that in just a short while. But first of all, I've got a funny for you. I don't think I shared my funny last week with you. I had it sitting here beside me, and I think I forgot to show you. So if you've seen it already, just laugh again. And if you haven't, well, enjoy. So I'm just looking to see if this is showing up in the screen. And yes, Susan, in-person gatherings are wonderful. So there's all these little baby ducklings, and they're on their phones and their screens, their devices, and there's their mom. And here's the other mom who's got all her ducks in a row, and she's telling her family, that's why you can't have one. And I've seen a few families of ducklings and goslings when I've been out for my walks down in Wakima Valley, and so I thought that was a cute one. It's spring is done now. Those babies are already starting to get older and bigger, but maybe some of the families are going to have like second batches of little ones. Sometimes they do that too, so I'll have to keep an eye open and see if there's second batches of little ones. Oh, and our weather word for today is, gee, you know what? I had a word and then it's gone for my brain now. What was that word? Well, hot. Hot and sunny. And actually at 3 o'clock, it just all of a sudden developed into like thunderstorm activity. But we didn't really get much out of it. And then it cleared up and got sunny and beautiful again. So it's just this little blip in the radar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when everything clouded over and got really interesting. And then it's got spectacular again. And we've had, 1, 2, 3, like Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've had like four nice days in a row here in southern Saskatchewan. And so I'm gonna knock on wood, like that was just unheard of, because we've had so much wind, and then there were some rainy days in there last week as well. It's just been miserable. So we are loving our weather here. Quick few words about last night's book from our book club. This News of the World. This is our final book for the season. We take a break in July and then start up again in August with a new round of books. And I was skeptical about this. The author lives in San Antonio, and it's somewhat of a Western themed book. And I just was like, yeah, I don't know, Western theme, not sure if I'm gonna like this. I went in, like I said, pretty skeptical. And coming out the other side, this is one of my favorite books that we've read all year. And I think I liked it. I like it so much because the two main characters are really interesting and wonderful. The one main character, he's a 72-year-old man, and he's educated and he's kind and an interesting fellow who goes around San Antonio in the 1870s. Not San Antonio, he goes around Texas, North Texas, in the 1870s on his horse from town to town, and he reads interesting news stories from all over the world. I guess back then it wasn't easy for people to get interesting news from other parts of the world, and especially like Europe and that kind of thing. And then a lot of them could just read at very basic levels, and so the newspaper articles weren't easy for them to read, so they'd come and sit and listen to him read. And he ends up stumbling into a scenario that is really quite interesting. I found it very fascinating, and I read this book in, I think, 2 or 3 days, which that's very fast for me. So if you're looking for a good read, I do highly recommend News of the World. And the neat thing about the author, Paulette Giles, she lives in San Antonio, Texas, but she was originally from Canada. So I thought that was so cool. So it's a great book. All right, so on to, one more thing. Oh my gosh, last Friday I was supposed to make a draw for these faceted gems, and I just totally lost my brain and didn't do that. And so I've got the names of everybody who left comments last time in this little silver bucket. Now, except for the people who were out of Canada, out of country, I have a separate draw for you. I will send a card to you, but for the product draws, they are people who are the people who are eligible are Canadians, because that's where I am. So, hello to Karen. Karen, you're shoot. I think I read on your profile that it said New South Wales. I had to check to see whether you were from Canada, and you're not. New South Wales, is that Australia? Or, I don't want to get it wrong, or else it's New Zealand. It's somewhere in the South Pacific. So, and Kathy from, I know this. Kathy from Illinois. I hope I got that right. You're in the second draw too, because I know you're out of country as well. All right, there we go. Can you see the name there? Oh my goodness, Sue, that's you. Sue Stowe, that is. I'm going to be dropping something off at your house tomorrow, and there's going to be some gems with it. So congratulations, Sue. All right, so that's the first one. That's the in Canada draw. And then, whoops, I guess I better put the tickets in there for the out of Canada draw. That's going to work a whole lot better if there are names in there. Okay, New South Wales, Australia. Okay, all right, and here we go. So last week, Susan, and I'm not even going to try to say her last name, I'm just saying F-P. Susan F.P. was watching, and she's from the States, and I kind of guess that, I think, if I remember, it's the Carolinas. So Susan, I will message you and if you happen to see this, you can message me, and I'll get your mailing address so I can send out a card to you. So thanks, ladies, for tuning in last week. And now today we will get on with the triangle fold or diagonal fold card. And mine's not going to look exactly like this, but this was my inspiration. My friend Leanne Livingston in Kindersley sent me this. I think it was, did she send it to me in a swap, or maybe we swapped it at a convention? And if you have a paper trimmer, you can make this card. It's easy to do. So I've got my paper trimmer out, and I'm starting with a base of Misty Moonlight. Yeah. And you have to score your paper in half one way and in half the other way. And you have to do that. Well, you don't have to, but I think it's easiest if you do that before you do the diagonal cut. So there's in half at 5.5, and then turn it the long way, and that's in half at 4¼ All right, now what I want to do next is I want to cut this card diagonally. And let's see, I don't, trying to think if this is the way I want to do it. Yeah, that works. So from here to here. Now here's the tricky part. When you measure from the tip of one corner to the diagonal corner, what's that called in math? It's like the hypotenuse or something. That's really, really long. Like, here we go. It is actually longer, and I don't know how much of this is fitting in the screen here. It's actually longer than the cutting divot here. Yeah. So here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to line it up at the top edge, just making sure that you're still going to be able to see this, and lining it up with the top little divot in my paper trimmer. And then, yeah, so there's the corner, right, lined up into the slot there, the cutting slot. And then the other corner down here, it's almost hanging off the edge. It's past the cutting slot. But I'm going to line it up in the I can tell where the middle is because they've made all these nice lines. It's exactly in the middle. So I'm going to be able to really do cutting at the top corner. Whoops, I'm just making sure that I've got both corners pretty much okay. Yeah, so I'm going to really do cutting at the top corner, and then I'm going to get that far down to the bottom. I think I've gone off the screen there, so I'm keep moving my paper trimmer so you can see. And look at that. Ooh, oops, I just missed a little bit there, but it actually kind of scored it. So I'm going to be able to take my scissors and yeah, just missed a little bit right here. There we go. There. And now I'm going to grab my scissors again and grab this little, I guess because the paper was propped up a little bit on the end of the trimmer, it couldn't quite cut all the way through, but now I can go to the other end and there. So there's 2 cards. Get myself settled back into place here. This first one I'm going to fold like that and that. So there's my first diagonal card. And then the second one, if I turn it over and do the same thing, fold like that and like that. And both the folds are going in the same direction. You've got one side folding up and one side folding out like that. And now, next, what I've done to decorate my cards is I've cut 2 pieces of paper. One is a piece of cardstock that's the white, Whisper White cardstock, or just a piece of cardstock that is coordinating with the designer paper that you're using. It's 5 by 3 3/4. And then a 1/4 inch smaller, the designer paper is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And again, out of these 2 pieces, you're going to get enough, well, you'll get the fronts for 1 card, I guess. I was going to say you get enough fronts for 2 cards, but no, that's not true. Just 1 card, because you need to, you've got 2 triangles there. And again, you're going to do cutting on the hypotenuse. I think that's what it's called. I hope I've remembered my math correctly. Yeah, Darlene, yes, it is really neat to see people from outside of the country who are joining in for the videos. It's neat how this hobby and passion that we have can help us to meet others in different parts of the world. You want to make sure that you cut both in the same direction, and you want to make sure you cut in the direction of your fold, because if I had cut this way, well, then I think I would have had to turn my pieces over. Would that? No, No, I can't even turn them over. You have to, it's one of those things. Watch when you're cutting that you cut in the same direction of your card. Okay, I managed to do that today, cut in the right direction. So now I'm just going to layer these together. I'm going to grab my green glue and quickly, I like the green glue for this, just matching up these pieces is like a puzzle, trying to get them put together, and I wanted to make sure that my edges are, that the borders are fairly close to being the same all the way around on that triangle. So there's one. The paper that I'm using is the same as I've used for a couple other videos. This is the flowers for every season, and I really like the new In Color Misty Moonlight, and so that's my base is Misty Moonlight, and then this paper has the Misty Moonlight in the blues, and then it has some green, and I think it's the Just Jade, which is also a new In Color in there, and then a really light version of the cinnamon color, just not the deep full tone cinnamon. It's a toned down, sort of a muted cinnamon cider color. Okay, keep falling apart here. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to lay it flat so that I don't end up getting glue all over creation. So now I'm just layering these two triangles on the front triangular flaps here. This is going to have a wider border. If you don't want your border to be as wide as mine, you can cut your rectangles larger to begin with, like 1/4 of an inch larger. And I think that's what my friend Leanne did. Now I'm just looking to see where I set her card. Yeah, here's the card I received from her. She has a narrower border in the base. And then her black cardstock border is quite narrow too. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to use these dimensions that I'm using. But, and if you can't remember, oh, hi, Susan. You just hopped on here now, and we have 2 Susans who are winners from last week. I was late making my draw. I forgot to do it on Friday. So my my stamping friend, Sue Stowe, is receiving the package of gold gems tomorrow. And I didn't see you on earlier, but there you are. I drew you for the out of country draw, and I'll be sending a card your way. So if you get a chance to message me your mailing address, I will be popping that in the mail for you. So yeah, I just see you there, that you just said hello now. So, and hi to Sheila if she's still there. I'm not sure if she's watching or if she's had to move along to something else. But okay, so just about done the main parts of this diagonal fold card. There we go. I think that's somewhat even. And okay, and now we want to decorate it, and I have got the stitched So Sweetly dies, and I used the 2 biggest ones from these shapes here, and I've cut a white piece for stamping a sentiment on, and then the Misty Moonlight, the bigger one, for the background. And the words that I'm using, I caved and I got the So Sentimental words that coordinate with the shapes of these stitched So Sweetly dies. And I decided that I have some people that are on my mind that are going through some health things, and I wanted to send healing hugs to them. So got the Misty Moonlight ink going here. And man, I mean, I just opened this recently. It is super juicy. So like I barely have to touch the rubber to the ink pad to get ink on it. It's just super juicy. Okay. And whew, yeah, I can see the ink just glowing there. It's so wet and so wet and juicy. I better close this before I end up with a misty moonlight juice all over me. Okay, just shaking that to make sure I'm not going to get it all over. And somewhere around here we go are some dimensionals to layer these pieces. And oh, yeah, that sounds great, Susan. Yeah, when the live is over, you can just let me know your mailing address and I can pop a card in the mail for you. And hello to my friend Roxy, if she's still there. Hi, girl. All right, now I want to glue this onto the front, and you could glue it. You can't glue it to both sides because then you'll never open the card. And I thought, well, if I glue it to the top one, yeah, it'll open like that. But then if I want my card to stand up, I have to pull this out to make it stand up and to kind of get the easel thing going. And then this part tucks in. So I decided that I want to glue it to the bottom triangle, so then the sentiment doesn't get tucked in behind when the card stands up. I don't know if any of that made any sense to anybody, but I decided for me, the bottom one made sense. Maybe it's different for you. And then I'm like, okay, how do I get the dimensionals on here so that I don't end up gluing down onto the other part? So what I decided to do was I put 2 fingers just where I'd want dimensionals along that diagonal edge, and I pulled this greeting away and held my fingers there, and I stuck one there and one there, and then I put a 3rd dimensional down here at this far left edge, because I know that far left edge is going to be on the bottom triangle there. And then I can attach this, and hopefully it will not be glued to the top triangle and my card will still open. Okay, now are we about up and down right? Something like that. Okay, yeah, so you can see that even though it does open kind of in a strange way with that top triangle, you can still set it up for display because the bottom triangle creates that wedge. Now, decoration. What I did was I grabbed, now I can't see it. Oh, here it is. This little blossom punch. And because punches just are so quick and easy, they're just so darn quick. And I need a little scrap. I'm going to have to use my blue, the other half of my blue card here, because I didn't grab a scrap. And often with a little flower, I have a little branch or leaves, but I've seen lately how card makers have taken some ribbon, and this is the ribbon. There's 3 different colors of it that coordinates with the flowers for every season paper, and so I'm using the Thick Gingham ribbon from that pack. Just going to cut, I don't know what that is. It's maybe about 4 inches. And if you fold it like that and make it like two little tails sticking out like that, then actually I think that's even longer than I need. I can cut it down just a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to hold the ribbon together with a sticky dot. When I fold it in half here, there we go, that'll hold it like that, and I'll throw another one down. Oh, I feel like I'm all thumbs tonight here. Okay, So there. So it's kind of like there's a little leafy sort of whatever sticking out. And I'm going to use some more adhesive. I'm going to glue dot this up really well. So I want it to stick. It's probably going to stick to some paper, but it's also maybe going to stick a little bit to the ribbon. And I want it to, the flower to not fall off or to go. Don't want it to go anywhere. Okay, so there we go. Got a little bit of a leafy bit of ribbon and a flower, and of course every flower needs a beautiful center. And I just got a big box of goodies from the new catalog, and I ordered these elegant faceted gems, and for some reason or another I think that maybe these might be on back order, and I could see why they would be on back order. They are absolutely beautiful. They're faceted and they're sparkly, and there's clear ones and there's like iridescent ones. And then these ones I think are like, I think they're like cinnamon, but I'm going to check in the catalog because maybe I'm telling you something wrong. Faceted gems. There you go. Elegant faceted gems. So yeah, they coordinate. They're shown with the Peony Garden Suite in earlier parts of the catalog. And it says there's 3 colors. Oh, okay, I was wrong. Clear, petal pink, and pearlescent white. Oh, the petal pink ones, I would have never, okay. I was thinking they looked more cinnamony, but yes, there's a very slight blush to them, very, very slight. And I thought that even though this isn't peony or peony isn't even petal pink or close to it, I just thought they went really well with the cinnamony aspect of these flowers in here. So I'm going to grab the big one and put that in the center of the flower, and I'm going to call it good for now. Now, of course, I'd want to glue a piece of white cardstock on the inside so there's a place to write and maybe decorate a little bit more, but you've got the basic idea of how this diagonal card works. And I have a second card here, just a little different take on this, so you can start, getting your juices flowing. Here's more of the Flowers for Every Season paper, and I used just a different sentiment from that same stamp set called So Sentimental, and I used the Butterfly Duet Punch. And this time for the center of the butterfly, I used these pearlescent faceted gems. They are very, very beautiful. So yeah, if you've been looking at a copy of the new catalog, make sure you check the elegant faceted gems out. And so there we go. That's it. That's the diagonal fold card. You'll be able to score both ways, cut on the diagonal. You'll be able to make lots of those and use your beautiful papers. I know lots of other designer papers would work with this same technique as well. I have a couple of reminders for you. First of all, if you haven't heard about the starter kit special, it's really important that you know that you can get $260 some worth of products and you only pay $135 right now. In the catalog here for Canada, it says $165 to choose in products, but the thing is, right now there is a special on and it only goes for 1 more week until the end of June, and you get to choose on top of the $165, you get to select a bonus bundle, and that's a stamp and die bundle or a stamp and punch bundle. And the most expensive stamp and die bundle is, I think, $80 some. So when you add $80 some onto the $165, that's getting you up to $260. something, and then they also Stampin' Up! Throws in a paper pumpkin kit for you. So it's a really, really good deal. And the other exciting thing is once you buy the starter kit and you can log on into the Stampin' Up! System for demonstrators, today we got to see the new fall catalog, the August through December mini catalog. We used to call it the holiday catalog here in Canada. I like it calling it the fall and holiday catalog. Oh, it is absolutely amazing. And we get to see it now online, and as demonstrators, we get to start ordering from it right first thing July 1st, and then the catalog will go live to customers in August. So we get a whole month as a demonstrator perk to pre-order. If you have any questions about this, be sure to give me a shout about that. My other quick reminder, some people, I think last week saw me, was it last week or the week before, I showed off the cards for my Dreaming of Paris class. And it's a lovely class where you get half a package of the Parisian Blossoms designer paper, and you get I think, what is it, 28 gems, 2 rows, whatever that is, 2 rows of gems, and like 7 feet of ribbon, and all the supplies to make these lovely 4 cards. You just have to do the stamping of the sentiments, and well, this one, the sentiment will be all pre-cut for you. And I have 6 packages left. It's been pretty popular. I think I started with enough for 12 people is what I've got left, because this paper is no longer available for order in the catalog. It's just what I happen to have left on hand. So let me know if you want to get in on that class. And if you happen to order the Cherry Blossoms stamp, or the Cherry Blossom stamp and the coordinating dies, then there are bonus things that will get added on, like 2 extra cards that you'll get in your kit. And if you go for the whole thing with the dies, you'll also receive half a package of the Flowering Foils paper. So ask me for more information if you need the prices and all the details, and I can send that to you. And I had best carry on with my evening now. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and probably be talking to you Saturday morning for my coffee break stamping. Bye for now.